Hey everyone, and welcome to another edition of Gotlegs. It's been a while since the last video, and there's actually a good reason for that. So if you follow me on diverse social media, you'd know that around 3 months ago, it's August right now, middle of August, I think it was the 8th of May, I had a crash. So let's talk about that. I was set to race on a Thursday. It was a holiday here in Denmark, so we got the day off. And it was the third race of the season for me. And the first two races, I basically kept at the back for much of the race just because I needed to get the speed into my legs again and kind of feel the rhythm of the group. And another thing that I experienced quite a bit, especially in race number 2, was cramping. So in my second race, I really had bad cramps going on into the last lap. I was on the downhill section. I got dropped from the group because I was just done. And on the downhill section, I just got cramps in both of my legs at the same time, which is quite uncomfortable. So I actually screamed on the descent. I had to make a stop at the bottom and just stretch my legs a bit. And then I rode easy the last couple of kilometers to end the race. So this third race, I had two objectives. One was to try to stay in the front, try to stay in the front part of the peloton for the entire race, basically using a lot of energy, finding all the small gaps, moving in between and staying up front so I wouldn't get caught behind the pack. And another thing was to test if the magnesium supplements that I've taken would actually have a good impact on my cramping. So instead of cramping in the end, maybe I'll not cramp and actually be able to do a good finish. So I get to the race and I do all the prepping, I do all the warm up and all that, and we get to the starting line and we set off. And within the first couple of 100 meters, I'm actually in the front. And I'm thinking, hey, this is actually doing pretty good. We do a tight right-hander, still in the front. There's some small attacks, but it keeps getting shut down, and I'm still at the front. So everything is going great. Then all of a sudden, a guy in front of me looks over his shoulder. At least that's how I remember it. So if you're watching this, feel free to comment, but this is how I remember it. There's a guy in front of me, and I think he's getting caught by the pack, and he looks behind at the rest of us, and we've ridden like a kilometer, maybe 1.5 kilometers. He looks behind, and as he looks behind, he kind of like steers. So he steers a bit to the left. So basically, if you've ever ridden a car, you know, there are some people that when they look over their shoulder, they tend to turn the steering wheel as well. That was what he did. So he turns his handlebars a bit, swerving to the left, where he hits another guy. So he has a guy on his left as well. They hit each other. The guy on the left actually maintains his balance, his stability. But the guy that actually hits him kind of like hits back into the peloton, and maybe at a bit of a tight two angle. So I don't know if you ever tried this, but sometimes you can like oversteer with your handlebars and the wheel gets like too steep of an angle and you basically fall over because you have so much speed going ahead. We're probably riding around 40 kilometers an hour at that time. So the front wheel goes a bit crooked. He can't control it anymore and he falls down. I'm just behind this guy, so I can't avoid but to hit him. And I hit him, flip over the handlebars, and then I just, I kind of like embrace for impact and just thinking to myself, oh, I got probably 25 guys behind me right now that has no idea what's about to happen. So I kind of like just crumple up together, and I feel like 4 hits or something like that, and all that noise you actually hear when you crash. And then that's it, completely silence. I try to open my eyes when it's all over, and the only thing that I can really see is light. Not that I'm dead or anything like that, but I can't see anything. It's just all a blur, and it's just like a light. And my first initial thought was, uh-oh, something has happened to my eye. And I kind of panicked a bit and tried to get one of the other guys who got down in the crash to like, here's my arm, my hand, can you please get me out of whatever I'm standing in and tell me what is going on with my eye? And he just basically says, yeah, I got you, and pulls me to the side and says, yeah, your eye is not looking that good. And the good thing is that it wasn't my eyeball, but I got like a cut in my eye. So I had like a deep cut in my eyebrow that just pumped blood into my eye, so I couldn't see anything. I was also hurting a bit in my shoulder, but everything besides that was pretty all right. So we call the paramedics. They come, and they like rinse my eye or my eyebrow. Took quite a bit of water to do that. And he looked at my shoulder and said, can you do like this and blah, blah, blah. And I wasn't able to. And he said, well, I think you might have dislocated your shoulder. All right. So my first thought was that this is going to hurt when they like pop it back in. And he said, you know what? I'm not able to like pop it back in, but I think we should call an ambulance. So they called an ambulance. It arrived, and they basically took care of me. They looked at my wounds and all that, and asked me how I felt. I got a bit dizzy at that time, just thinking of how much pain it would be to like get that popped in again. And then I got some drugs that helped a bit. And the guy from the ambulance said, all right, we'll just see if we can pop this shoulder thing in. And I got up and like moved my arm back and forward, and he said, yeah, it's not popping back in, but I think you might have broken your collarbone, because he could actually see the bone like moving as my arm was swinging around. So it kind of went from, oh no, I think it's going to hurt quite a bit to get like it popped in, but then we're good to go, to, yeah, you've broken your collarbone. This is bad. Got taken to the hospital. Got to lay there for quite a bit. Got an x-ray. It was pretty easy to see that it was actually broken. Got some stitches in my eyebrow, and then headed home. Not feeling that good. Got some more drugs to like take the worst of the pain, and it wasn't actually that much of a pain to begin with, but when I got home and I sat down and all that, I was sitting down and I said, you know what, I think I need to lie down. Tried to move to the bedroom with the help of a very good friend and my wife, and before we hit the bedroom, which is literally like 10 meters from where I was sitting, I fainted. I just passed out. And that's the first time I've ever done that. It's the first time I've ever broken a bone, the first time I've ever passed out. So anyways, for about 4 to 6 weeks, probably 6 weeks, I was with my arm in a sling. And I couldn't do anything. I couldn't lie down to sleep. I could only sit up to sleep. I couldn't lay on my sides. I couldn't put on clothing. I couldn't take a shower. I couldn't do anything. You know, like sneezing, coughing, laughing hurt like hell, because it's like this part of your body, and it's affected by everything you do. So every time I would move, I could just like literally feel the bone move. And in Denmark, we don't do the surgery that they do in other countries. So we liked a more conservative approach to collarbones, and I was actually begging to have my collarbone operated on instead of just, so they like put in a plate so to make sure that the bones are like locked in. So you're still not able to do that much, but at least the bone doesn't move about, and you're actually able to do different movements and all that. The thing is that I went to a doctor after about a week and asked, hey, can I get surgery on this? And he pulled the x-rays and showed me that it was actually such a clean cut that they would never in Denmark do that, because the chances of it growing back together by itself was 100%. So it was basically, if you like have the bone, it goes right here. It was like broken like this. So it had like a cross breakage. So it wasn't like a chop or the collarbone being broken into several pieces. It was more like a hairline fracture across the bone, but it was still cut all the way, and that looked pretty good. Then a couple of days after that, I actually did something. I didn't know if I put on my clothing or anything like that, and I did a movement, and I could just feel like, this is not good. Now it's feeling quite different, and all of a sudden I got like a pointy tip, and it turned out that the actual bone had moved a bit. Not good. So after about 2 weeks, I did some. For the first 2 weeks, you do like simple mobilization exercises to get blood flowing through your arm and all that. And then after 2 weeks, I had to do some different exercises. And as I did those, I could just feel that this is all right. The next day, it was just so incredibly stiff. I couldn't even do a quarter of the movement I was supposed to do. So you're like supposed to stand with your arms like this and go up and down and up and down. And the day before I could pretty much do what I wanted, and the day after I could only get to here and was just like pulling. And after that, I started getting like these shocks in my collarbone. So like whiplashes, like I could sit down and just like feel the pain shooting through. It was just incredibly painful and not that pleasant at all. Went to the doctors again. They told me, yeah, the collarbone has shifted. You get 2 more weeks where you're not supposed to do anything. So that's what happened. After the 2 weeks again, we're up to 4 weeks. I got to a different doctor, said, you know what, that actually looks pretty fine right now. You can do whatever you like now. Just be careful, don't crash your bike. And here we are now. It's been 3 months. I'm able to ride my bike. I'm able to do my strength training. Of course, in my strength training, I'm not able to do all the exercises or at all the weight that I'm used to do. But it's a steady progress coming back. The bike got completely shattered. So I crashed it hard, and it was broken. So I've actually ordered a new bike. It has been delivered from Elves as well. Basically the same bike, but the new 2025 edition actually. And then we've done some upgrades to some of the components. So the shifters will still be this Ram Force E-Tap. The crankset is also the SRAM Red with the, what is it called? The Quark thingy, D4 I think it's called. But I've had some upgrades on the handlebar and the wheels as well. So that bike is currently being built up. So the next video I'll put out will be of me showing off that bike. It's currently at AH Cykler being assembled. I did like the rough assembly to begin with, and they're doing the final adjustments with all the hydraulics, all the setup, all that. So when I get it back, I just need to dial in the position as I like it, and basically put handlebar tape on, and we're good to go. So thanks for tuning in for this video. I hope that the next video will come out soon. I have an upcoming goal that I'll also tell you about in the next video. And yeah, thanks for tuning in. If you have any questions about broken collarbones or anything like that, feel free to ask in the comments. And if not, thanks for tuning in. Make sure to watch the other videos. And until next time, bye.